What's up, it's Georgio the Fragrance Apprentice, and in the mid-90s, Giorgio Armani released a fragrance called Acqua Di Gio for men, and it was a phenomenal hit, even though it had a tremendous amount of competition at the time going against it. Even though it had all that, it survived it, and it became a classic, a legend, as we all know today. It's some people's favourite fragrance. Nearly 2 decades later, you had Acqua Di Gio Profondo, which is right over there. I've got a little 40ml of it. Huge success, even though it had a tremendous amount of competition against it. Basically a sort of a mirroring story when it comes to just how incredible it was. Had lots of competition, but still managed to prevail. In fact, some people say that that fragrance is better than the original, which is a very rare thing to say about anything. You know, whether it be fragrance, whether it be Star Wars films, Star Trek television shows, any franchises, people actually usually prefer the original. But Acqua Di Gio Profundo was so good that people even say that it's better. Now we have this, Acqua Di Gio Profondo, year 2020. So, is it any good? Now, if you've ever seen me do one of these first impressions before, I don't just smell it and then go, oh right, well that's great, you know, cheerio. What I do is I unbox this, and I've got the 125ml because I didn't want to mess around this time, especially if I liked it. Put it on and I wear it. I wear it throughout the day, and then I check back up. And so right now it's about 9 o'clock. It's so early the candles aren't even lit. I'm going to check back at 2 o'clock, tell you how I feel about it, and then around about 5 o'clock I'll give you my final judgment on it. Now, of course, this is only a 1-day wearing, even though I have been doing this for quite a while, and I sort of know by now, even within a day, whether I'm going to like it or not. This is not the full review. This is just my first impressions. Wow. Very beautiful bottle. I think I have an idea of what this is going to be honest with you. I think that this is going to be a blue fragrance, you know. It's going to be like Sauvage. Something like Sauvage, something like Bleu de Chanel maybe. Yeah, it's nice. It's quite nice. It honestly smells a little bit like Office for Men. Actually, really quite smells like Office for Men, which is weird. But pleasant, interesting, good so far. I'll wear it now, and I'll check back up at 2 o'clock, see how it's going. But, you know, there's part of that opening that's really good. Really nice opening. But then it suddenly becomes very generic and docile. Anyway, I'll wear it throughout the day. I'll check back up with you at 2 o'clock, tell you my thoughts. But yeah, so far, all right. And weirdly like Office for Men. Okay, so it's now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been wearing this fragrance for about 5 hours. And there's a few things to it. First of all, to get this out of the way, fans of this, which I am a huge fan of Acqua Di Gio Profundo, what are my thoughts on the similarities and differences? So here we go. I'll just tell you this right now. I wish that the sizes were swapped. I went big because I thought, because when I bought a 40ml of this, I was so disappointed because I loved it, and I was like, I need to get 120ml of this new stuff if I really like it. Don't make the same mistake twice. However, I wish that I had a 40ml of this, the new one, and 120ml of this Profundo. This one is a lot younger. It's not as herbaceous as this. This has got a lot of rosemary, it's got a lot of thyme, it's got a lot of herbs, and it's constructed so beautifully and so well done and mature. Because of that, it's mature. It's for somebody who is in their late 20s, their early 30s. It has a real good solid maturity to it. This is a younger man. This is somebody in their early 20s. It's funny because I said that I thought it was going to be like Bleu de Chanel and Jules Sauvage. It's not like that. It's actually going more towards Versace Dylan Blue, but it's actually going even more towards Versace Eros Red. And I really didn't like Versace Eros Red, but I do like this. I do like it, but, you know, there's things about it that I don't like, but I don't know if that's because it is very well constructed and it's very well done, and there are some good decisions that have been made, better decisions than the decisions that were made with Versace Eros Flame. The detriment with Versace Eros Flame is that you had a lot of sweeter elements and citrusy elements mixed in with thyme and rosemary. I think it was mostly rosemary that was in there, and that just smelt very odd and very bizarre, and it didn't work. This has got rosemary and thyme and those herby elements akin to Profumo, but it doesn't go too sweet to accommodate those herbier elements. And what you've got something that's youthful and something that is a little bit more energetic and energized than maybe this. But it's very well balanced. It knows its limits. It knows its limitations, especially with those more herbal notes and herbal elements. And so it just calms the sweetness down. It doesn't go over the top, and so in that way, it's very good and it works very well. But it also has some sweetness. It's also a little bit, in fact, it's quite generic in some respects. And for somebody like me, or somebody, if you're watching, who's been into this for a very long time, you're going to be like, I've kind of seen it done that before. But it is kind of cool. It's a kind of a cool novelty to have a generic kind of designery blue fragrance integrated with the Acqua Di Gio DNA, and especially the modern Acqua Di Gio DNA, which of course has all the elements I just previously discussed. And for that, it's a cool little novelty, and it works. And like I said, I would have liked to have had a 40ml of it, because I think that I could see myself wearing it very easily, because of the fact that it's just easy to wear. It's something that I could wake up and just go, right, I'll just have that and I'll just wear that. I don't think I'm going to fall in love with it, head over heels and think, oh my god, this is the greatest thing to have ever hit the designer world, or anything like that. But I'm just like, okay, I've got it if I need it. So, and it's good, and I'm sure that it will get compliments. And one of the reasons why I think it will get compliments is because it really, really is starting to remind me heavily of a fragrance that I have that gets me a lot of compliments, and I already mentioned it. It's Office for Men. When I do these first impression videos, I on purpose do not look at Fragrantical reviews or base note reviews or my fellow reviewers' reviews on the fragrance that I'm going to be doing the first impression of, because I want it to be a first impression. And I don't just mean by smell, I mean by anything. Like, it's my first ever take on it. I haven't read any reviews or anything like that. So because of that, I didn't know the perfumery of this, but as you saw, it does smell like Office for Men, especially after those first 30 seconds. The initial opening, the initial blast is of mandarin orange, and that is very beautiful and very breathtaking. And I thought, okay, here we go. But then it slips and it slides and it goes to very, very generic sort of territory. But by heck, as we say here in the north of England, it does have a resemblance to Office for Men. It really does. I don't know if anybody else has picked up on it, but my goodness. And of course I did the research, and it's Alberto Morillias who perfumed both of these, and it's well within his right. He did the original Acqua Di Gio back in the 90s. But it leads me to pontificate that I think that he was working on both of these fragrances at the same time, and because of that they have these sort of similar ideas and similar themes, to the point where I don't think that they're not clones of each other. That would be preposterous. But they're not exactly brothers either, but they are in the same family. They're close cousins, right? They are cousins of each other. They have similar DNAs. They have similar. It's that aquatic kind of sea salty vibe that Office for Men has, and it's that. How do I describe it? I can smell it straight off the atomizer. Dave said that he had that sort of mothball kind of smell, or that sort of linen kind of smell, I would prefer to call it. That linen kind of tone, that sweet, salty linen tone that's in Office for Men is very, very prevalent also in this Acqua Di Gio Profondo. Yeah, and I can even smell it similarly from the atomizers. So Alberto was a bit cheeky, I think, with this one, to be honest, because I do feel as though he nabbed a bit of the DNA from Office for Men, or the other way around. Maybe he nabbed a bit of this to do Office. I don't know. But there's some similarities there, most certainly. But this also has And again, this is just all first impressions, so I'm kind of reaching a little bit. This isn't a proper review. But yeah, there's some nice grounded solid citrus within here, and those blue fruitier tones are there, but they're surprisingly not as sweet as maybe you could imagine that they'd be. But again, that's good. That's a good solid decision. So far, I like it. I think it's good. It's not blowing me away. It's just good, and I know that for some people they're really going to enjoy it and really going to love it, and especially if you're in your early 20s, this would be something I would most certainly recommend. It's not trash. It's not terrible, but it's going to be maybe a little bit disappointing for people who are fans of this. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up at 5, and I will give you my final thoughts then. But so far, so average, I'd say. So there you go. See you at 5. And so we come to the end of the day. It's now 7 in the evening, a little bit later than I wanted it to be. So what do I think of Profondo? Let me just frame myself up a little bit here. I think it's fine. You know, I think it's, at this point, a sort of a 3.5 out of 5, as in it's somewhere in the middle of being completely mediocre and average to, actually, that's quite good. It's fine. It's solid. There's nothing exactly wrong with it, but it's not mind-blowing, which will be upsetting to some people, like I said. But it's fine. It's a good, solid, nice instalment of the Acqua Di Gio canon and line, and it's a nice contribution to the whole blue genre fragrance. But look, what you really want to know is, yes, it smells good. Yes, other people will definitely like it. It's built that way. It's built to accommodate other people, and if you buy this, you will get compliments. You'll do well, and it's fine, and it's modern, and it's lovely. So it's got a lot going for it. But is it a groundbreaking, game-changing masterpiece like Profumo? No, absolutely not. And is it as mature and as interesting as Profumo? No. So stick with Profumo if that's what you want. But if you're in your early to mid-20s, or if you're just a guy who just wants, a new casual fragrance that's a little bit sexy and quite modern, that's another thing that's definitely going for it. This definitely is a fragrance from 2020. It's very modern, it's very hip and whatever. So if you want all that, then that is a surefire hit for you. But if you want anything else from it, then it's not going to work out. Yes, there is a distinct similarity between this and Office. That's what I would say, and I would argue that to the ground. So for me, right now, so far, it's a 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, somewhere in between completely mediocre and average, and actually that's pretty bloody good. It's somewhere in between there. Anyway, I hope that you got something from this first impressions video. I will be doing a full review of this probably in about 3 weeks. I think I'm going to be able to get the gist of this very, very quickly. Another thing that I want to point out is that it's lasted the whole day. I've had no performance issues with it at all, so that's really good as well. So, hope you enjoyed this, and for more regular new fragrance content, please subscribe, like, and if you have your own take on this fragrance, leave a comment down below. Anyway, I'm the Fragrance Press. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
The sign